Hello, everybody. Welcome to LABA Presents, our monthly Friday at 5 series, showcasing the works of our LABA artists. I'm Laura Beatrix Newmark, and I'm the director of LABA in New York. Tonight, we are absolutely thrilled to present Grandfather Visit, featuring our LABA artist, Doron Perk. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm excited to introduce Doron Perk.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy to be a LABA Fellow for 2021. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm glad to be together, even if it's through a screen. It's nice to feel that we have come together. Yesterday was Yom HaShoah and the Holocaust Memorial Day in Israel. And today we are honoring the memory of a Holocaust survivor who is no longer with us, my grandfather, Professor Kalman Perk. He was a great man and had an incredible life story. 2 years ago, he passed away. And about 1 year ago, I decided to create this dance piece to honor his memory. It's going to be a solo performance that's titled Grandfather Visit. What we're going to see tonight is first a video testimony that's made by Yad Vashem. That's the Holocaust Museum in Israel. They made this interview with him where he describes the last moments he had with his family, how he survived. It's a really beautiful video, and I think for those of us who don't know him, it's a great way to be introduced to his story. To those of us who do, it's always nice to see him, to hear him speak. I think it's a good introduction for the piece, even though I don't know if it will be the same when it's on stage. But for today, we're going to start with that. After the testimony, we're going to go straight into the work in progress showing. It's a video of rehearsal. I've been working on this project for a long time, and I'm really thankful for the opportunity to have space in the 14th Street Y to keep working on it and keep making it better. For this showing, I cut down a lot of the segments so it will fit in this time frame and will make sense to watch it this way. But in the actual piece, every section is longer because I want it to be a full evening performance, and I want it to be live in front of a live audience, and that can happen hopefully in the fall or the winter of this year. After we watch the video, we will have a talk back, conversation between us. So I would love for anyone who's here to participate in that. So if you have any questions or remarks or thoughts during the piece, during the watching the video, please remember them and bring them up at the end. I would love to hear feedback. I would love to have a conversation. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you for being here. Let's start the video.
כשהרוסים כבר היו קרובים מאוד לקובנו, אז הגרמנים החליטו לחסל את שארית הגטו. הביאו אותנו לתחנת הרכבת, שזה היה בקצה השני של העיר. אינני יודע כמה היו בתוך הקרון, 50 אולי 100. וכולם ידעו שהנסיעה הזו זה למחנות ההשמדה, זה לא היה ספק. אני יכול להעיד שלא הייתה שום היסטריה. זאת אומרת, למרות כל המקום החנוק הזה, הנה עכשיו אני אפילו מרגיש את הריח, ובכל זאת אנשים שומרים על צלם אנוש. הרכבת התחילה לזוז, ופה קרה דבר מפתיע. אחד האנשים רץ לאשנב, ובכוח בלתי רגיל קרע את חוטי התיל מהאשנב הזה, וניסה לדחוף את עצמו, ולא יכול היה. הייתי אז בגיל 14, מאוד רזה, כמו רוב האנשים במחנה הגטו, ואמי אמרה, אם יהיה מישהו שישאר בחיים ויוכל לספר את מה שקרה לנו, זה יהיה אתה. אבי אמר, כן, אתה הולך. והוא בדרך המחושבת שלו קם ומרים אותי ולא רק זה, והיא אומר לי, אני אוציא אותך עם הרגליים, תוציא את הרגליים. מה איתך, את הרגליים? ואני זוכר את התנועה הזו, כי התנועה הזו ממש בנפשי. סיבבתי את ראשי ורציתי עוד חיבוק, עוד משהו. הפרידה נוראית. כל מי שאהבתי הולך למחנות ההשמדה. ובמקום זה, בצורה מאוד רגועה, כנראה שהוא רצה להקרין בי שקט נפשי. הוא אמר לי, du sollst sein ein Mensch. ודחף אותי החוצה. את אמי לקחו לשטוטהוף, למשרפות, ובאותו היום גם את סבי והסבתא וכל המשפחה האחרת נרצחו, ואבי בדחאו עם אותו גורל. הציווי הזה של אבי, שיהיה בן אדם, או זה היה מנש, תמצאת לי את מהלך החיים. וזה לא חשוב שאני אהיה פרופסור, מה שנהפכתי, או סנדלר, אבל שאני אהיה בן אדם. ואני רק מקווה שעד לרגע האחרון הוא ירגיש וידע שנשארתי, ואני באמת הולך בציווי הזה.
I'm gonna open it up so I can see whoever is here. Hi, thank you for sticking around. Yeah, I would love to open the floor for anyone who wants to say anything, wants to share. Just go for it. Unmute yourself. Erela, hi.
היי, מקסים. מאוד התרגשתי מאוד. זה פשוט אחד הדברים היפים שראיתי.
Thank you. תודה.
תודה.
Rafi, wow.
Great to see. It was beautiful, inspiring, moving, and really beautiful. And I found it also very optimistic. And I really believe that somewhere Kalman is sitting with the family and enjoying as well and clapping very enthusiastically. That's really the way I envision things. Really, really beautiful. I have a question, Doron. When you over the years were sitting with Kalman and having tea and enjoying each other's company, did you have in mind already the roots of the dance already during that time, or is that a recent thing that came up to you as an idea to turn into a dance?
It's a recent thing. I didn't think about it before. It's just I wanted to keep him in my life, you know. So I create this dance so I can keep dealing with him and thinking about him and figuring it out. So
beautiful, inspiring.
Thank you. Yay.
And you look just like the young Kalman.
That's nice.
Very much.
Thought that too when I saw the poster for the event. I thought, oh my gosh, the similarities are incredible. Doron, thank you so much for sharing this. I feel really privileged to have watched it. Just beautiful, beautiful. I'm curious for you if you have a memory of the first time you heard this story, or like where did it sounds like such a foundational story to your family. And I'm curious kind of like how your relationship may have changed like when you were a kid, when you were a teenager, as an adult, and like, yeah, just what was the first time, if there is one? I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like I feel like I've always known this story. Like I don't remember when I was told it. I mean, throughout the years, more and more stories were accumulating and repeated. And this specific story was not a story he would tell every day. Like, you know, there were other ones that are more frequent in the visits, but this one is definitely the one that's shaping the memory and the family story. And yeah, when I saw the theme chosen, it just felt like very connected to me. Yeah. So yeah, I don't have a specific time. That was the first. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, so
thank you for being here.
Yeah, it was very beautiful and very moving, and thank you for that. I was curious about, I think, was it the last piece that, I think it was washing?
The touching, yeah.
Yeah, just the genesis of that, you know, the idea of it, what it came from and how that came to be.
So that last section is, and the idea is that it's like after, it's like not part of the visit anymore. That's why the chair is not there, and that's why it happens after the goodbye, you know. And the last cup of tea kind of symbolized the goodbye, and I leave, and then it's kind of the left alone. And the idea came just from touch, like the self. Also, it was made during quarantine, so I was very alone in terms of like the ability to touch, right? I mean, we kind of all lost that ability. So self-affirmation, realizing that you are still here, you're still alive, and that kind of comes from the touch. and different ways of touch, like if it's the washing, if it's the tickling, if it's the massage. It's all about pleasure, you know, it's all about a good feeling of being alive. Like, that's why I'm happy to hear that it feels optimistic, because that's the idea. It's not, I don't want the legacy to be a downer, you know. The legacy is to bring us up, to remember to be alive, right?
Yeah.
So that's where that comes from.
Thank you. I definitely got that. Thank you.
Great. Mindy, you wanted?
I love what you said about keeping him. You said something about keeping him alive or keeping him with you or something. I love that, because what a great tribute and great way to think about people that have gone through, those of us that make art. But any way you can do it. But I really appreciate that you said that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great choice of music too. Beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Moving from start to finish.
Adela, I'm so happy to see you.
Happy to see you too. Thank you so much.
Doron?
Mama.
Can you, why you chosen the Mendelssohn piece at the beginning? There's a story behind it. You didn't tell.
Yes.
Maybe you can tell us. Yes?
Yeah, I mean, it's a story. I wrote it in the journal piece. If you read it, then you know, but I'll repeat it, sure. It's a story that he used to tell a lot about his friend in the ghetto. It was this friend came from what was Palestine to visit his grandmother in Kovna, where they lived. They came to visit a week before the war started. His name was Noah, I remember. And he always forgot his name. It was always like a thing about his name. Like, he couldn't remember the name until he could remember in the middle of the story that his name was Noah. And they were the same age, so they became good friends. And the story was that every day after the hard work in the camp, they would go back to the room where Noah's family lived, and he would take he had a violin, and he would play Mendelssohn. And he would play many pieces of Mendelssohn. The story was always that he would play piece after piece after piece, like all the concertos he knew, and he would do the same concert every day. And I just loved the way grandfather Kalman used to talk about it, because you could see the love that he had to his friend. And he also used to say that he loved him not only because of the Mendelssohn. So there were other reasons to love him, but Mendelssohn was always the reason he's told us. So that's why I chose Mendelssohn, and I love that piece. I think it's very moving. And in this showing, I only used the first few minutes of it, but it's actually a 12-minute piece. So yeah, it becomes quite intense. I don't know if you know it. It's quite intense at some points. Like, it can be. So I love that piece. It goes from, but it has always this kind of happiness in it. It's not intense in terms of like it's haunted or something. It's intense out of emotion. So that's the story about Mendelssohn. I think we have time. Yeah, and there's the Hora. There's other Israeli songs that I used. And this one is just like the most iconic. I mean, I used to folk dance as a kid. So all those moves come from my 8-year-old self, that I just love dancing that kind of movement. And yeah, it kind of connects to the idea of, I mean, he always talked about it in the way that he was a Zionist. I mean, they were Zionists in Kovna. He was a Zionist in the way that he built Israel. And yeah, it's just made sense to include that.
Good. Okay. Thanks.
We have 1 minute, I think, if anyone wants to say anything. Laura, sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to say that I really love the piece. It was very touching and very inspiring. And I support you as a true artist who, regardless of whatever situation the world is going through, you continue creating and doing your art and sharing it, which I think is very valuable. So thank you, Doron.
Thank you, Laura. Happy to see your face.
Yeah. And Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
Yes, Shabbat Shalom.
Okay.
I just want to say one thing. Can this video be shared? It was wonderful.
Yeah.
The
sure.
video will be shared. We have a YouTube channel for LABA, so it will go up, and it will also live on the 14th Streetwise Facebook page, so you can see it in both places. But we could, I think there might be a way that we could send it out to the group who registered for this, so that you can all access it. And Doron, you have time too. You don't need to stop right away. You have a window of 10 or 15 minutes if you'd like to
But
take.
once we get the video, once we get it, can we share it with other people who weren't registered?
Of course, of course.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you. I'm Yehuda Hyman's cousin. He invited me.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're great.
Thank you,
I have
Doron.
a question.
Yes.
Doron. So if the Mendelssohn is 12 minutes, and do you see it growing into a longer piece?
Yeah, I definitely feel that it will exist as a full evening piece. The Mendelssohn is 12 minutes. The metronome part, that was a bass drum now, that usually takes around 8 to 10 minutes. And there's other things, so it's like, I'm not really sure about showing a video or talking, or how to give the testimony, how to include it. But I have a bunch of ideas and a bunch of options, but definitely I see it as if not 1 hour, 50 minutes, or somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour. So it can live by itself.
I thought the video part was very powerful, and I just think that the captions need to be more clear to read them more easily.
Okay.
It was great.
That's doable. Okay.
Thank you, Doron.
Great.
Wonderful dance, wonderful piece, and thank you for inspiring piece, and thank you for bringing back Kalman to all of us. A wonderful and outstanding, who was all about optimism as well. I think that the optimism that is reflected in the dance is also a great, representation of Kalman, and my impression is always he stood for optimism. Everything that he went through and everything that he accomplished. And you are an embodiment of that of his many life successes and achievements. So thank you for all that.
Thank you.
Yeah, Rafi, and also it's an opportunity to see you.
Yeah, great to see you and everybody. Hopefully soon.
You and Ella, yes.
Jonathan,
Doron, I just wanted to say hi for Gila and that I'm absolutely 100% sure that Abba was watching and very proud. I know in the last years we were sitting together watching in an iPad, you dancing, and but he, how competitive he is. He always reminded me that I also danced. Not I. He said about himself when we were seeing you twirling around. I just want to emphasize also what Rafi said and about the friendship with Noah, who played. Abba always, people talk about the gvura, the in ghetto Varsha, that they stood up to the Germans. But he said that the gvura that he saw was that even with all the hardships, people maintained a normal life and their culture and the music. And this exactly what you just did embodies that even with all the hardships, people maintained their tselem enosh, which is their humanity. And that was very important for him. And by the way, for him, as part of the optimism, music was always part of keeping his spirits up. I don't know if he shared this, but he said that, at least in his memory, I don't know if it's true, but at least in his memory, he said that after jumping from the train where he lost all his family, the train to Dachau, after waking up, he didn't cry, he sang. And it was a way to keep his spirits up. I think it was a defense mechanism also, but it was a way of keeping his humanity. He also, even later when he was a young veterinarian in Switzerland and he had a fear of heights, climbing the mountains, he would sing. So music was part of keeping the humanity. And I think I know that what you are doing, the connection of the dancing and the music, that's the humanity. That's the optimism, seeing the positive and the human side, even throughout all the hardships, which are unspeakable. So I know that he would be very, very proud of you today, seeing you, your accomplishments and all the grandchildren. I saw Daphna there also, so proud of all his grandchildren after losing the family behind. Establishing a new family, so talented and humane. Yeah, I shouldn't blabber on, but just thank you for this excellent evening and
thank you,
seeing everybody.
Thank you so much. Amazing. I really, really appreciate the support and this conversation. And I'm happy that we get to keep remembering Saba and being together. So yeah, hopefully next in a few months we will do it again, but in person. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.